Well, here we are at the Raby Garage. This is project number 2, which is 1966 Ranchero, the bastard of the group. It really gets, that's helper, sister. It really gets not too much in the press because it's half Fairlane on the front, Falcon on the back. People just didn't like it because it had changed and so forth. Anyway, noticing this right-hand header proves that I've done something on the engine. Can't tell what it is configuration wise until you look. We'll get to that in just a little bit. This is a problem that started the whole damn thing with me. If you notice, here's a couple of sets of steering columns. The blue one is out of a 64 Comet, which I had hoped to use the sector box and steering rod out of using another Pitman arm. However, damn thing just couldn't measure up. I couldn't make it fit right. The center one there is the original column, and I've scraped it down a little bit on the wire wheel and got a little lube on it. Now that fucker right there, that steering sector with that big old rod on it that is attached, is what we call the spear, and that's why we call it the spear. People would get head-on collisions, that thing go right through their chest. So anyway, back to the car. That right there is called a short man's dream. A block of wood sitting on a tire holder that enables me to get up into the engine compartment and do some work, which is right here. And this happens to be the famous 351 Windsor that is located in the 66 Ranchero. Everybody knows that 66 did not have a 351W in it. And this one is kind of a hot rod old version of it. It's got a 351 Windsor block, and you can tell that by the deck height on it, which is the space, leading up to the head. However, back in the early days, people would take heads off, in this case, a 289 engine and put them on there and get higher compression ratio, blah, blah, okay? And that's the case. This thing also has a 289 cam in it. Well, guess what? The firing order is different between 289, 351. Look it up. Found that out when I first got the car and I started looking at the wiring. It's like, fuck, this thing is a 289. And then I look at the block. Nope, it's 351. It was 351 bastardized, but I tell you what, I put that little high-rise manifold on it, and it's got a little Carter, I guess AFB, or that might even be an Edelbrock. Yeah, it's an Edelbrock carburetor on it. This thing runs like a damn scalded dog, so, throw a box of cement or something in the back of it, smoke the tires for half a mile. So, anyway. See if I can show this. It's kind of hard to get down and around. I have to take the headers off to get the steering sector out, and you can see that is a big fucking mess right there. So you got to have the car jacked up enough that you get the spear out, and of course you got to get the column out too, and that leads to its own set of problems, or whatever issues, whatever you want to call it. As it turns out, from the inside, you start by shucking the dash cap on the damn thing, and then you have to pull out the gauge cluster on it. Thank God it's kind of small, and undo all the wiring, pull out the column, etc., etc., etc. And it's not a big deal. It's just friggin' work. You try to bundle things so you can get to them easily, and try to do a nice job putting it back up. So anyway, we're in the midst of that. I got a steering column. I finally had to break down and buy one for retail price, which is like $350 or something. And this is the new baby that will go in there. Got a little rust, it's been sitting out, but it'll do the trick, you know, spear and all. By the way, you ask, why don't you just put a collapsible column? Well, it's kind of hard to do. Don't have the space. If you notice that little bitty brake cylinder right there, that's going to be replaced with a bigger one and a vacuum unit on it, so I'll have power brakes on that. So that's an additional problem. To begin with, you have very little space, so you got to take a lot of stuff off, you know, to get that steering sector and column in and out of this thing, and that's where I am. And to top all this off, that's my excuse for not being able to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy some plywood. Thank you and good day.